So the first thing we want to talk about is this coming fourth Sunday. We are establishing, we had to get it right, took us a couple times, but we're going to have our first college day. That will be the fourth Sunday, which I think is the 24th of this month. And the goal is, now remember, I said the goal is to be able to serve in the morning because that service will begin at 10:45. And we want to be able to serve coffee and tea and some danishes. We are working to get a food truck, and the reason you see me laughing is because we contacted a guy local in the area, and he hung up on us. So, well, I mean, that's a good thing because then you don't make a deal with someone who may not be able to complete the deal. So this is what College Day is. We have minorities on the move who are joining us, and we're asking you if you have a favorite college or you're an alumni of a college for you to wear your jersey. And we still practice social distancing. In fact, in the back, we were talking about having some new things, some touchless things where we have touchless dryers, but now we're elevating, as we would say, getting some things where we can wash our hands and still practice social distancing and wearing masks. And so we have enough seats, believe me, to accommodate you. So every college student, we are going to, now what I'd like for you to do is to reach out to us either through social media or at the number 864-671-0030 and let us know that you're going to attend, because the goal is to have a food truck and to serve every college student for free, as well as the members of both campuses. So that's going to be a day, and we're going to try to do that every fourth Sunday. So that begins at 10:45. We're presently at 210 Pansy Road, Hodges, South Carolina, 29653. 29653, that's where we are. So we want to promote College Day. Minorities on the Move from Lander University will be joining us. Yes, and we are looking for musicians. We are looking for praise and worship singers. So if you'd like to join us, please hit us up through social media. Someone will be very glad to get in touch with you. So that's what we're going to do. So if you have you're a college alum or you have a favorite college, Clemson, USC, South Carolina State. I think we have here in town Lander. We have Piedmont Tech. We have, I believe, Emory. We have some people. We got Mars College. So please don't hesitate. That is this coming fourth Sunday at 10:45 a.m. Like I say, we have room for worship singers. We plan to have flags that day. And so we want to serve coffee and tea and danishes in the morning. And we're working to have a food truck on site. So if you're a college student, please pass it on to let them know, but you need your college ID. We can't feed the world now. And make sure it look like you. So then second, we have a program that we are starting. We've not had anything like this at the two campuses along with the virtual campus. And we're doing successful giving. And that successful giving to help build up the financial support for these three things. We support here the Greenwood Food Bank. We have an Adopt a School program. We work with elementary schools, and we deal with Shoes for Africa. We have flyers. They should be up on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, and we'll make sure it's up on YouTube. And you can give through Cash App. That Cash App, look for us, hashtag $ Greenville House. You can do Givelify, House of Reconciliation, or you can write a check. And so what I've asked everyone to do is to try to find at least 10 people. All 100% of the proceeds that will go to one of these events where we have food, and you see the boxes in the back. We're going to, after our class this evening, get those over to the Greenwood Food Bank, and we need to gather more supplies for Adopt a School. And a lot of people don't understand what the Adopt a School program is all about. It is about, we have young kids, elementary kids, who are going to school who are not properly prepared to go to school. They do not have the proper shoes. They do not have the proper undergarments. Many of them don't have socks, and they're there for, I don't know how long school is now, 6, 7, 8 hours. And so we have help. I think it's the social workers there. We have helped the schools. I know we do a couple things here in Hodges with book bags and things like that. It is critical. And it's so critical to the point that I plan to hopefully start this month, take 2 times out of my teaching on a regular basis and really do something for our youth, our kids, our youth, and our teens. And I think, and I didn't write it down, but I think I have a name for the teens. Because our teens have a difficult time. And now we have people that have an influence over our children, to the extent that I did not know and not aware that there was a challenge in the social media platforms to slap a teacher in the back of the head. And so now we have elementary kids being charged with crimes because they don't know how to weigh the difference. So now you have a kid, and depending upon who the kid is and where the kid is from, they're charging a kid with an assault on an adult. Because the platforms are encouraging, some of them are encouraging the challenge to slap when I was a child, which was a long time ago, ain't no way in the world you would have thought about touching a teacher. You would get beat at the school on the way home, and Lord, don't let your grandparents come up there. Mama with a wig on and his halfway on one side, a papa with his cane, and he got a belt, he got a cane in one hand and a belt in the other hand, and you're gonna get it, and all your friends are gonna, and so, see, this takes us into the lesson that we've got to do something. And there's nothing wrong with being spiritual, there's nothing wrong with being, but there are principles and guidelines and ethics that we have to teach. And for me, sat in the meeting today and listening to other sides of how people have had everything given to them in life, and how now they have power, and even the people who look like them have problems with them because they don't know what it is to have to earn something and to have to be a part of something. And I mention it, and I recommend to those that may be watching, go back and listen to the Sunday broadcast. We need to develop a team. We don't need a kingdom. We don't need a king. We don't need a queen. We need a team. And we serve God. Even regardless of whatever position you may have, whatever you do, the Bible says, do it unto the Lord. If you serve with me in ministry or you serve with someone else in ministry, it should never be about the person. I think too many things get in the way when people have personal attachments, and then if somebody gets mad, now they have left God, because that's the first person you quit on. God is, listen, you go anywhere you want to go. That's your right. But the question is, how do you answer to God? Did God tell you to do that, or did you do that out of your feelings and out of your emotions and out of your anger and out of your being unsatisfied, or feeling as though you didn't get enough praise? I've been the pastor here for over 18 years. I've never put a picture of me up. Never had a seat. Took all the seats out. You know, and the deacons had a meeting about me outside. And my response to them, and I could have all been their grandkids, I said, it's enough seats in the church for everybody. We've lost the power to worship. And when we've lost the power to worship, we've lost the power to serve. I think there's a Bible text that says, let the greatest among you serve. And we should serve. We shouldn't serve for each other. We should support each other, but whatever we do it unto the Lord. Because most things are never about, God told me. Most things are about, I don't like this and I don't like that, and I didn't get recognized, and I didn't get, nobody make me feel, you make me feel like an outsider. Listen, we all outsiders. Just about any meeting I sit in, I'm an outsider. So we have these three things, successful giving. It starts this month. 3 cents, $3, $30, $300, whatever it is, an amount of threes. And it's not a one time, it's up to you. Because here's what I'm trying to do in a ministry that was established in 1952. I'm not trying to make it about a problem or situation or person. I want to make and develop the ministry about serving God, worshiping God, and serving people. So we're not a event alley. We don't have quartet singing and all of that and stomping and kicking and spitting. We want to serve. And in serving, you will find out that God hasn't forgotten about you. God will touch your body. God will open doors. God will give you favor with people. God will increase your health. But if you're not willing to share anything. So we're going to do this because we're going up to, I believe it's Harvest Sunday. Now don't forget, College Day, 4th Sunday. I talked to a couple of the college, and so please use your social media. It can be your kids, your family members, but I like to at least get a number. So if I can get a food truck, that I can, and we're going to take care of that as a ministry. First Sunday in November, which is I believe November the 7th, we're going to have Harvest Sunday, and we're asking you, the audience, to come and join us, those that are part of the Greenwood, the Greenville, the virtual campus. Don't know if we have any global partners in. We do know we have our ambassador, Sister Rosita. We're praying for her that she can recover. She's been dealing with some personal health challenges, so please keep her in prayer. And we're asking to bring 5 guests, and we're going to try to do the same thing in that morning. And we need musicians for that Sunday. And we need praise leaders or someone who can sing. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. And again, that is November the 7th. That is the first Sunday in November. We're going to have Harvest Sunday. I want to give you something to think about. This month is supposed to be the month of testimony. Now we know the number 8 represents spiritual numerically. It represents new beginning, new day. That was the month of August. The month of September talks about the number 9, which is fruit, not fruits, fruit of the Spirit. Not spirits, spirit. I asked the question the 1st of September, what have you done with your seed? By now or soon, you should have a testimony. Now, this word is broken up into 2 parts. Testimony means now you have something to stand on. I ask you the question, are we still wandering around in our lives addressing every issue the same way? For some reason, I have had a very strong, significant audience when I talk about words like stuck, stubborn, struggle, survival. The reason that I'm going to go back this year or this month and start doing a segment on kids and money, and then youth, and I want to work with teens, and I want to bring in some professional people to talk about peer pressure and talk about ethics that our teens should have, because there are programs that want to give certain ethnicity groups games and tablets, and they never have any social interaction. They don't have problem-solving skills. The young poet who spoke at the presidential inaugural, I can't remember her name, and she said that her and her brother had challenges. They were preemie babies, and their mother sent them to a school, and I can't think of what it was, but it was some kind of school that they just didn't do paperwork, but they had to learn how to solve problems. I can't think of it right now because this wasn't a part of my thought process coming out. And I thought it was significant because many of our children and many of us who are adults have never had to deal with things but from one side of our brain. Yes, ma'am. Amanda Gorman. And she said she went to, it was called critical thinking. She went to a school. Her mother homeschooled her and I think it was her brother. And her name was Amanda Gorman. Please look her up. Awesome, generational type of person that can help and set up precedents. And she said something that stuck with me. She said, my mother knew we had challenges, but she sent us to a school that focused on critical thinking. Most of us have failed miserably in our life because we've only used one side of us. And that side has been this: feelings, emotions, pain, anger, low self-esteem, and denial. And so I think why people watch the program, and let me clear up something because it's coming to South Carolina. We're in Hodges, right? Do you not know we have 350 to over 500,000 people a month that watch our programming? And I don't know all the different formats. I know Apple TV, I know Comcast, I don't know, I know Roku, and then there's another one, and that's not including the social media platforms that we have. But we have gathered, and they have the numbers that watch us. And I've said to all campuses, people will watch us not for me, because I'm not the product. I wouldn't go look at me. I had to call I'm just being honest. I had to call a photographer today because I don't have any current pictures. And now that we're starting to track, I need some better pictures. And so I had to call him. I said, now, I'm not one of these people that like to pose. Some of y'all are all like this, some of y'all like this, some of y'all, that's not me. Just give me a shirt, as long as I can see. And I got so old, I need glasses. That's all I'm interested in. I'm not interested in being cool. I'm too old for that. When your grandkids, bah! It's game over. Game over. Pastor, game over. You're in the grocery store. Hey, pal. Hey, Deacon Elder. How you doing? How you doing, Bishop? How you doing? So I said I need to bring in some experts from the school system because it is going to be starting to be advertised locally. So we're going to get hated. We're going to get hated. It's one thing to be hated. It's another thing when you start really, really tracking and you're going to get hated. So I'm just letting you know up front. So most of us, and so that's why I kind of deviated, because people pay attention. I mean, we did one show that in 3 days, over 6,000 people on social media watched it, and I still don't, and it had to do something with stuck, conflict at the cliff. And I still think as we are moving, we are still stuck on the cliff. And I've prayed, asked God, and I have a few things that's going to help you and I. Begin to help us today. The number 10. The first thing, if I would say to you here in Greenwood, Greenville, and virtual campus is stop avoiding the test. Number 1. The media team gave me this thought: overreactive, idle mind. See, in our nature as a kid, everything we seek and want comes through the first thing that develops in our body and our mind are what I want. And I want to be satisfied, the need of me. And so as we grow older, and especially if we didn't grow up in any kind of spiritual environment, then we don't understand the other side. I'm going to give you this, as this is number 2 I want you to write. We can't pass anything that we won't face. And as you and I face issues, failure, brokenness, and in some cases abandonment, loss, family, loved ones, spouses, it brings about an array of emotions that at one point in your life and mine, as the clinical psychologist said, body's in the basement. It hurt so bad, we numbed ourselves to it, to the degree that we forget it ever happened, until something comes along in our lives that brings back that moment. And when that moment resurfaces out of nowhere, out of the back of your mind, out of the back that could have happened at 6, at 5, at 4. We don't understand this type of thing have shaped our entire framework. That we have completely forgotten about. So one of the first things it does, number 3, it shut down the ability to listen. If you can't hear, because when you were innocent and you were trying to reach out, someone cut you off. Could have been Easter Saturday. Could have been on a Good Friday. Could have been at Christmas. Someone received something. Somewhere you were left out. Somewhere you felt powerless. Somewhere you failed. Learning to ride a bike and was laughed at. Fell in a grade in elementary school or middle school. Something shut you down. And what was formed after your hurt, I'm here today to tell you, is not who you are. You can't solve anything that you won't deal with. There's going to be hurtful moments, painful thoughts, and sometime it will take your breath in the middle of tears, brokenness. But I encourage you, work to that point that it doesn't hurt you anymore, and that you can move beyond it. And I'm going to give you a couple things that will help you move beyond it real quick here. Because here's one of the famous tricks of the enemy. Blame God. He didn't answer your prayer. He answered theirs. You had to repeat the 6th grade, and the person that did nothing passed to the 7th. And so you prayed. You did everything that the preacher told you. You did everything that your mom told you, everything that your dad told you. And then it's even tougher if your parents are not there to support you. And what people don't understand, that you maybe didn't have parents to support you, but I've always said, what's the difference in having parents who are there but don't know how to support you? Listen, Proverbs 11:1, balance is not an easy thing. The Bible talks about a false balance is an abomination. Balancing is not easy. And anybody that tell you it is, it's tough, but it's achievable. And so one of the things that hurt does. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. And so what I want to do is tell you about some alternative things that sometime even in high school and even in college never has been awakened. Because sometime when the first part of the human brain is developed, I think the clinical psychologist said it's the body part. So then the body has its own spirit. It wants to do what it wants to do. It doesn't want to be controlled, doesn't want to be tamed, doesn't want to be told anything. Well, this is sometime we still have this behavior as an adult. And so then it's easy to blame God, but never the enemy. There are forces in your world and forces in life that want to keep things away from you. The reason being, if you were to use them, if you were to learn them, if you were to understand them, you would bypass the environment that you're in. And the enemy does not want you to get over your hurt and over your pain and pass it. Now, I was dealing with some things and I asked God, he says, listen, everybody that got together and left Egypt and was going to the promised land wanted to go. But when the road got narrower and the times got tougher and the responsibility grew greater, they couldn't go. Because sometimes the only thing people can see is what's in front of them. That's number 4. Raise your view, raise your sight, lift your head, and look over. Get off, move yourself from the tree, step back, and look for the forest. Because here's the thing. Even in a difficult season, I saw this, a person had written this, and I'm going to give you this part first. And here's the thing. I want you to write this. I think this is number 6. I'm going to be tested. No amount of money, no significant title is going to exempt you or I or a person from being tested by life. All tests are not the same. So here's the thing. If your test, watch this, and this is dangerous. What is this, number 7? If your test can be addressed with your feelings and emotion, then the test isn't strong enough to bring about change. I'll say it again. Most people wonder why they're stuck. Because they address every test with their past. They address every test with their pain. They address every test with their failure. If your test can be addressed with your feelings and emotions, then it's not strong enough of a test for you to change. Ask me why. When you deal with everything in your feelings and your emotions and your failure and your past and bodies in the basement and stuck and struggle, you're using only what you see and only what attempted to work the last time. You're missing, and we're missing, a significant part. Listen to this. Test doesn't come just to come. You don't have problems just to have problems. You have tests to strengthen some things we've never paid attention to. Test isn't to challenge you because of your race or ethnicity or sexual orientation. Test is like, that's not even a part of the test. So do you even know why we have tests? Tests are there. The test of change, which means you have to levitate. You're going to have to find other resources besides your past, your friends, your circle, your group, your chat room buddies. They can't answer these tests. These tests are not for your flesh. The tests of change will cause one to pull from their cognition, their intellect, their intelligence, and their ability to concentrate beyond what they see. That is when you're gathering, my friend.